Okay, so today you're going to take notes on crime scene sketching. If I put it under an underline or a box around it, then that's what I want you to do is write those words. So write crime scene sketching at the top of your paper. Pause the video whenever you need time to write and go back as necessary. All right, let's clear the screen. Disadvantages of photos to recording crime scenes. So as you can see, there are two pictures here. One is at a different angle than the other. In one picture, it makes it seem like one of the cups is much smaller than the other cup. And I think with the 18 millimeter one over here on the left, what it shows is that, hey, that purple cup is way in the background. Over here, it doesn't show you that it's way in the background. So you do need to have that depth. It also fails to provide accurate representation of distances between items, and a camera angle and distance from which the photograph is taken can lead to a false interpretation. So in this, I would like you to talk about, number one, the disadvantages of photos in a crime scene, failure to accurately represent these distances, and how this can lead to false interpretation of critical relationships among objects. So that is why we don't always use pictures. Sometimes we have to use, something that is drawn. So it's nice to have it from different angles. I am about to go to the next screen, so pause now if you need it. All right, so an advantage of using sketches instead of just pictures is it's going to portray physical facts. It can relate things to a sequence of events. So you could have several pictures that would show what happened. It's going to establish the precise location of objects in the room. So those 2 points to me are very important. So most of the time, a sketch is going to be like above the scene. So it's almost like we've cut the roof off and taken a picture of what's below, and it gives us a different view of exactly how far one thing is from another. All right, pause again if you need. The advantage of using a crime scene sketch also gives a permanent scene. Obviously, pictures will do that too. If you take a picture, we can download it to a database. So what's really important is that we can use it in court, and it can assist the interviewing and interrogating. And if I could add something even to that, is it's going to help jurors to see what needs to be seen. So this is definitely something that helps jurors or juries to imagine the crime. All right, so if you were a juror, if you were on a jury, it would really help to see where everything is, because just being described it is very confusing. Moving on. All right, so an objective to making a crime scene sketch is you're just gonna go ahead and tell you right now before I start talking about it. All of these things need to be written in your notes, because drawing a crime scene sketch, I can never say that quick, is going to start with drawing a rough draft of an outline. So you might be asked to give a rough draft of the room you first walk into. It might be the room you're in currently. I may ask you to do that. What you're going to do is just rough sketch. This room is square. This room is rectangular. My classroom is in a T shape. So rough sketch that real quick. You would include dimensions on that, and I'll show you an example in a minute. Just quick jot of how big everything is. Include distances between important objects. So how far is this table from the wall, this table from this table, this, stove from the fridge. It would include dimensions of the large pieces of furniture And you would want to verify that with another officer. So all measurements are directly on the drawing. Everything is right there. Go ahead and write what's there too, because the scale 411, you do want to have things to scale. So again, write this. You're going to indicate an arrow with the letter N to show true north, because if you just say left and right, that's very confusing because left and right changes depending on your orientation. So having it north, south, east, west, if we know where north is, we can determine everything else. If it's not to scale already, you need to say not to scale. You'll include a key of, you would include a key of identified items. So off to the side, like you would do for a graph, if you have an important information on a desk or on a table, or there's like trash everywhere, but only one thing is actually important, instead of drawing all that trash or drawing all that stuff, you would just put A, and then off to the side, you would say A means document or what have you. I'm going to move to the next page and pause my alarm because I have 10 more minutes before next class. All right, create a legend on the sketch. So this would include a case number. In real life, it would. An address of the building, the date, the victim's name, if known, name of officer, name of other officers present, and the type of crime. So we'll do this in an actual crime scene, although we wouldn't do it today. So please write those things, and just to give yourself a check, we need these, and then we're going to move on. All right, so things you would need to indicate. Indicate locations of all fixed objects. If you want to tell yourself what a fixed object is, give yourself an example. Doors, windows, shelves. Big things that stick still. Indicate with numbers the location of all movable objects. So lamps, statues, large pictures, pieces of furniture, stuff that is not ingrained into the room, something that's not dead bolted to the wall, like my bulletin boards. Those are fixed, but my cabinets are not, because I can take my filing cabinets and move them about the room. So write what's in yellow on this slide and give yourself example if you need. Pause the video as necessary. All right, so what do we notice about this picture? What we notice is it's hard to read. I do see that the angles, it's just kind of rough, and that's okay. It's a rough draft. I do notice also that, I'm going to give it a focus. My focus left. Oh, it doesn't want to focus because it's a weird screen. Nope. All right. Well, anyways, I notice right here that it says it's not to scale. I notice it says figure number 1. I notice that it has dimensions, a key, and some information at the top. Initial sketches, which is your rough sketch, is developed directly on the scene, and it is not done to scale. It can be drawn with anything that is nearby. It's rough, okay? So your initial sketch is your rough sketch. And what I would want you to write here is just that first top thing. Please pause this page as you need. All right, so on this initial sketch, it's really rough. It tells you where the house is, the driveway, and then it gives you all of the dimensions necessary, okay? So it is rough, and it is not to scale. It has a date, but it's for the sketch artist to be able to take that back with them to their office and make a much neater sketch. So they will put all information they need directly on this. Look at that tree. It's a circle. Perfect. This final sketch is going to be much different. It's not a final sketch of the thing we just saw, but what we do see, if it would let me focus. Nope, it's not going to let me. Fireworks. Okay, sorry. What we do see is that this crime diagram right here, figure 2.2, that A is a table. It gives me the dimensions of the walls, but not of the items. And it gives me the general shape, but obviously it's not completely circular chair. So it tells me how far these items are from the wall. And so I would be able to easily see that. Look how the door is done in that triangular fashion, and windows are marked as well. So this is another final sketch with using a program. We won't use any programs this time, but what we do see is these little gaps are doors. It shows you how they open inward. It shows you a victim. It shows you a bed, and they have a little more detail on it. So making a detailed final drawing. This is something that we are going to write, making a detailed final drawing. You are going to write that the finished product is of the rough sketch. So you need to be using the rough sketch, not your memory. So when we go to do a crime scene, if you don't do a rough sketch, you will have points taken off. This is prepared for the courtroom presentation, often will not show all the measurements that are originally recorded on the rough sketch, but having them on the rough sketch gives us those measurements if needed. Only significant items and structures are typically present. So whatever really has to do with the crime scene. And we are going to write this whole slide. Please pause the video now so you can do so. Okay, making a detailed final drawing, continued. It needs to include a disclaimer if it is not to scale. We'll be doing both to scale and not to scale final sketches. All lines need to be straight. We need to use a ruler. You need to have round all circles using a template. All labels and measurements are present that tell us the key, what is A, what is B. You're going to create a drawing in a size easily duplicated and use permanent marker for drawing. So you would do it with pencil and then permanent marker it. If you are not done, which you probably are not, please pause now and finish writing that. All right, so here is another example of some sketch sheets. We have kind of an alleyway, and we can see that it's not to scale. So that's helpful to know because the sofa may look really small in this picture, but it might have taken up more of the room than this. As a rough sketch, it doesn't have all the information, so I would assume this is a final sketch. But in a final sketch, you would want to have all of the measurements of how close things are to each other. All right, so let's practice, use the clues. If you, we are going to do this next time. So you're going to use the clues in this and go on through these examples. And so we'll do that another day. If you have any questions about these notes, let me know. Follow the Google Classroom information to get more information of what needs to be done with this. Have a great day.